Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hello, YouTubes. It's Joey with Valley TCG. And today, I'm going to be doing another, video just on a very surprising announcement that, I probably wasn't expecting when I made my last video, and I don't think many people were. So I'm going to be talking about uh, Joe Biden dropping out of the uh, presidential election race. Who would have thought? I'm kidding, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the premium booster reveals that we've seen, especially one very, I think, maybe welcoming to some and very not welcoming to others announcement that was made, and that has to do with the manga arts and the manga arts that will be available in the premium booster boxes. So before I go and do that, guys, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that would be really appreciated. I love you guys, and thank you so much for the support. All right, so let's kind of talk about this, right? So I have the One Piece Premium Booster, statistics up here. I really just wanted to show you guys maybe a couple of points that it's releasing in November of 2024, and MSRP on it will go up. So MSRP will be $5.50 per pack. Over, I think it was $4.49 for the original booster packs. So that is a pretty sizable increase. And I don't have it on here as well, but there will be about 20 booster packs per booster box. So down from 24 booster packs. And um, those booster packs will have 12 cards per pack. So a little bit kind of all around different. And this will be the premium booster. So think about it like a special collection. Pokemon 151, if you will, if you're familiar with Pokemon, right? So not a traditional expansion set, but a special expansion set. Maybe for the collectors, who knows? And I think what will be really interesting is what we have seen revealed this weekend. So we've seen a lot of, alternate arts already released, and I think this will be. So here are all the cards that were released, and if you notice, right? So if you're just kind of looking down here and then moving all the way up, you're like, oh, okay. So there's going to be like Blueno, however you say his name. There's going to be 3 versions of that. And then there's going to be, here's Sanji's Pilaf, another 3 versions of that. Oh, so lots of really interesting playable cards. That's really cool, and they're going to make alternate arts from that. And then, I don't know if it's on here, but there will be dons for a lot of existing cards. So pretty unique dons, actually. And I might go over that in another video. But then you're going up here, and you're like, what? What is all this? Right? Like, what are all of the manga arts doing on top of all these other alternate arts? Right? Like, I thought it was just, if you've seen the releases, this Nami is the new one. I thought it was just going to be the Nami that's going to be the manga arts, manga art within this set. But so if you zoom in, you see it's every single one up until now, right? So that's not 10 manga arts. And you're like, wait, are they just doing this for show? What are they doing here? And indeed, they are going to be reprinting every single manga art in One Piece. Wow. What a crazy, crazy reveal this is, guys. And so if you're like, well, okay, so what is going to happen to, like, are there any differences? I think probably would be the first question you're going to ask. And according to Sakura's Card Shop, which is a card shop, pretty large Japanese card shop, they're based in Texas, but they sell Japanese cards. According to them, there will be a PRB01 stamp and star stamp above rarity. So what this means is, so if you guys can see here, let me just zoom it in for y'all, right? So right here, there's a star stamp on this version of the Manga Ace. And they didn't really have the star until OP05. Since after OP05, the star didn't exist, or the star existed in every single, I guess, alternate art. But prior to that, so 01 to 04, they didn't have that, right? So you don't see anything here. And what they also added in 05 was this stamp right here. So Sakura's Card Shop is saying that this stamp is going to say Premium Booster 01. And what the stamp is kind of like a counterfeiting or anti-counterfeiting stamp. And this was not in any of the alternate arts prior to OP05. So this might be the only two differentials, right? However, I guess maybe the problem with this is, so you can see this. So this is the stamp a little bit more up close on the left side. So I don't read Japanese. And I don't think a lot of people that were at this Malaysia exhibit where all of these cards were revealed read Japanese. And we don't really have very great granular pictures of what this is. So if this says PRB01 or equivalent or premium booster, then that's okay. Then that means there is a very easy way to differentiate the original manga art versus the current manga arts, or the PRB manga arts, right? Now, if this says something very similar to the current manga arts, which is all it says in English here is, One Piece card game. If that's what that says, that means that any manga arts after OP05 is entirely non-differentiated versus the PRB set. Mind blown, guys. So prior to, I guess, OP05, you still have this little star. So you can tell, so this is a box unboxed from the original runs manga art. So, and the other, and then outside of that, you can't really tell, right? But so that just means that if this stamp just says One Piece card game, then we are in big trouble, folks. That means OP05 boxes all the way through 09, every single one is going to be worth very, very little. That just means that Bandai is digging deep into their cash grabbing ways, and they are going to try to wring every dollar out of the collector crew. And I think that's it's pretty interesting, right? If the thing is, like, look, this is the other thing, right? There's a guaranteed manga per case for PRB 01. So that's the other thing. So they're reducing rarity on all the cards as well. So you're going to have a flood of manga arts, new manga arts, out in the system. And to my knowledge, Bandai has never done this before, whether it's with Digimon or whether it's with Dragon Ball Super, not Fusion World, but Super. They've never gone off the deep end and reprinted the Super Chase card, right? The 1 in 3 cases card. And if they're making it so that after 05, you're unable to differentiate between a original run card and a reprinted card, I mean, I think that's going to really hurt this game. I'm just gonna throw that out there, guys. I know, like, fuck the collectors, fuck the investors. I hope they die. I hope they're running up the prices. Blah blah blah. Guys, like, I get your frustration for those people, and I'm frustrated myself that I can't get my hands on easily to rip inventory. But I think what we all have to recognize here is that investors, you like it or not, a lot of these guys keep the interest at a higher level in a game. And what do I mean by that, right? Now, let's say all you do is you're a player and you like your, little fleshed out decks, whether you like a couple alternate arts in there. Let's just say if you're able to do that very cheaply, but at the same time, it's almost meaningless, right? If you want to, be the big dick at your LGS and you have your fancy deck with all the alternate arts in there, it doesn't really mean anything if all the value of the cards are gone. I mean, this is still a collectible game, right? This is a trading card game, sure, but there is a level of collectability in One Piece, in Pokemon, um, I guess Magic. There is that level of collectability, and if that level of collectability is gone, the game's dead. I mean, the end, right? Look at what happened prior to the reserve list for Magic. Prior to the reserve list for Magic, players were bailing on the game left and right, right? They're cards that they've collected, that they've loved, that they played with, they thought had a little bit of secondary market value. Wizards of the Coast came in there, were just like, yeah, no, I don't feel like that's the right way to do things. Let's reprint a bunch of them. And then people just got fed up with the game. Pokemon. Let's look at Pokemon, right? I mean, if you didn't have, Logan Paul, or maybe it was Jake Paul, one of the Paul brothers, with his, big TikTok following and getting a lot of people interested in the game, you probably wouldn't have all these players in the game today. You probably wouldn't have all these collectors in the game today, right? So there is a real value that investors serve and collectors serve in a collectible card game. And if Bandai is just going to say, you know what, screw those guys, we're going to go in and start reprinting those cards, the hyper chases, just because we want a slice of the pie, it might seriously ruin the game, the entire game that we love of One Piece today. That's just my soapbox. That's one man's opinion. But I think that there's a real value to be had for collectors, to people who are interested in the game and interested in collecting the card, um, for investors to be in this. So let's see what they do. Let's see what the stamp says, right? If the stamp just says PRBO1, like Sakura believes, I think Dave is his name. So like Dave's believes, the guy that runs Sakura's card shop, um, then maybe that'll be okay. And I think that might actually be a pretty elegant way of allowing people to own some more manga rares. But if it's exactly the same, after '05, so your manga Luffy's gonna look exactly the same, your manga um, Zoro is gonna look exactly the same. I think that's gonna really hurt the game. So let's take a look at sells already, right? So here's a picture of Japanese seller pretty much slashing prices by half. People are running for the exits. I think my view is if you can find a couple of manga rares for cheap, let's say Manga Ace was offered to you for $300, buy it. If especially '01 to '04, right? Because there is that difference still. So there's no star above the rarity designation. So at least '01 to '04, I think it's gonna be like using an analogy again from Pokemon, like a first edition versus base set Charizard, or Shadowless versus base set Charizard, right? So you'll have one versus the other. And it also, I mean, guys, it does depend on how many of the PRB booster boxes they print. I know it's like one per case, but if they don't print, let's just kind of do the math here, right? Let's say there were 1,000 cases of OPO1 that was printed, right? And let's say all the way from '01 to '09, we know they scaled up over time, but for simplicity's sake, let's say that they did 1,000 cases every single run, right? So 1,000 case for Shanks. So let's say there's 1 in 3 cases. There's 333 manga Shanks out there. And let's just say they printed 1,000 PRB cases as well. There's 1 in 10 chance, right? Here, guys, there's 10 manga arts. You get 1,000 cases out. So 1,000 extra manga arts out. That just means that there's only going to be another 100 of these in circulation, right? So that's about 30% more. Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to get over a little bit of a cold here. It doesn't help that I'm yelling into a microphone. So 100 more of the Shanks, 100 more of the A's, so on and so forth, and 100 of the Nami, which I think we're going to talk a little more about that. That's going to be an interesting one. So let's say they do a relatively medium-sized print run. You're going to really increase, the population of these guys marginally, actually. If we do think about the print run as a sliding scale of like from down here all the way coming up here, that means the marginal impact on a Zoro is going to be less than the marginal impact on a Shanks, right? And so on and so forth. But again, the first 4 are protected. So it's really from here onwards that you might actually see an impact on pricing on the manga arts. And then you have, I guess, Nami manga art, which is going to be like crazy cakes in pricing because you have 1 in 10 chance of pulling it. So 1 in 10 cases instead of 1 in 3 cases of pulling the Nami. Unless they, increase the seed of this versus the seed of the rest, right? So it will be really interesting to see how they do this. But if they kind of like heavy-handed everything, just to say even across the board, we're gonna see Nami being like a $5,000 card, and then everything else probably dropping somewhat, especially with these guys, right? Like the Luffy's gonna drop a ton. And what does that mean for sealed prices? Well, seal prices are gonna drop for 05, 06, 07, right? Um, I guess I thought there was a Rayleigh as well. So sorry guys, I thought it was gonna be a Rayleigh in here as well, but it really just seems like it's 05, 06, and the EB01 that's gonna get reprinted. Oh man, sorry guys, I'm really struggling here. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say here on the subject. So I guess I was wrong. It was not 05, 06, 07, and 08, 09, right? They're only just reprinting these. So I guess the rest will come in a future premium booster. So I guess we'll see when that comes through how that will play out. But as we know, this is going to be the crazy part. You're going to have prices just cut in half. And I guess that makes sense here why Riley and Boa have not been cut in price just yet. They're not reprinting it just yet. I think PRB2 is probably what they're going to do for these things. So really broadly, my case will stand here, right? So they are reprinting manga arts. The first 4 are protected because they're not reprinting those. We'll see how this impacts the broader market. I think if it's going to be a very similar looking card or exactly the same looking card for these, I think Bandai is making a massive mistake. Yeah, bad idea. Anyways, thanks guys for watching, for listening to me rant. If you enjoy the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys next time.